This is Michael Daly. I'd like to read a poem from my new book, Born With, just out from Dos Madres Press. This is a poem called Water Street and Taylor, which is the corner in Port Townsend, Washington, where the Mount Baker block still thrives, I believe, with many offices. And back in the 70s, when I lived in Port Townsend, Empty Bowl Press had an office there, at that time run by Bob Blair, who had moved his letterpress machines and type and paper up a pretty steep flight of stairs to get to that office. And several other artists lived in the building at that time as well. I found out recently that later on, almost the entire building was given over to the arts. Artists of all stripe practicing their art throughout that whole era. I don't think that that's still happening there. I think the building changed hands, the ownership. This poem is an ode to dedication for those who still are dedicated to their arts and still have spent their lives working in those arts. And it begins with a little quote from Kubla Khan by Coleridge. For he on honey-dew hath fed, and drunk the milk of paradise. Water Street and Taylor. After you left, the muse told me the cold building harbored artists, and I remembered stairs squealing when Bob hauled the letterpress beast up, then, years later, set it down regally in a flatbed, both ways on a taut come-along chain cranked by 3 hearty guys promised beer. After you left, she said, for years windows rattled in the 5 unheated stories where dancers, luthiers, weavers practiced, a masseuse, a jeweler, poets, the madness of a cliff-dwelling painter, his easel blood spatter brittle in moon slash. A golden age crackled in those street corner rooms once upon a time, kerosene lit for 100 years by whores and lonesome boys shipping out to Shanghai. Artists paid rent with art, jugglers held open the doors, and I, submissive citizen, sold the clock tattooed to my body at infancy, far from that 5-story throwback, across the sea from the sculptor's molten pour, behind a boil of asymmetrical windows and tin, a world away from a squat on the stone-cold floor where French-garroted scribblers starved on crumbs and tourist leftovers, drank in hymns of humiliated monks on the mossy plaza where the jeweler botched a Persian glaze on bone. Heavy-helmeted artisans dripped silver into sacramental alchemy, and the ruins of Alexandria, reawakened into this world, throbbed like furnace. Feathers of a toe dancer's slipper lit by cold dawn flames. Thank you.